What is the best trading strategy in the market, if I may ask? Is it ICT? Is it SMC? Is it price action? Is it Wyckoff theory? Is it Quasimodo? Is it break and retest? Is it support and resistance? Is it supply and demand? What exactly is the best trading strategy in the market? Because many people complain of so much chaos in the market. So how do you navigate through the whole chaos in the market without getting your hands burned and without losing your hard-earned money? That is what I want us to discuss today. I have come up with this strategy that you are seeing on your charts to show you the best way of trading the market. This is exactly what I have tested and it has been working for me. So if you're interested, let's do this together. And I'm going to show you live trades that I've taken with it. I'm going to show you even the running one that you see it and know how this really works. Now the diagram right before you is a complete illustration of my trading strategy, which I have found to be one of the best trading strategy out there. I'm going to explain it to you in detail before we go to the chart. So starting from the left, the first thing you see is a kind of market structure that I've labeled as A, B, C, and D. So from A, B to D is a complete structural circle. If you know about market structure, but if you don't know about market structure, let me know in the comment section so I'll make a video specifically on market structure, in-depth detail of market structure. I will explain it to your understanding. So this is a complete circle of market structure. One structure has been completed, and from observation, whenever a structure is completed, price tends to pull back to a point of interest known as POI, and that is the point labeled C, and you can see COI there, POI there, which means point of interest. That is the point of interest. Price pulls back to that level and then begins to continue another structure. So point of interest is what you should know. How do you identify a point of interest in the market? If you do not know this, let me know in the comment section. I will also make a video on it. Now, there are several points of interest, several things we use as our point of interest. Number one is the order block. Number two is the breaker block. Number three is the fair value gap. Another one is the rejection block as our point of interest, depending on the nature of the market we are working with. So whenever price gives me this complete structural circle in the market, what I do next is to spot out my point of interest, which is labeled C here according to this illustration. So after that, I will wait to see how price pulls back into it. And if it's pulling back and making structures, as you can see here on the chart where I labeled my trend line, if it's making this kind of substructures on a counter trend direction, I quickly will pull out my trend line, place it from the top, from the beginning of the pullback to wherever, and then extend it to that my point of interest. So I will keep monitoring it until price breaks that trend line. So when price gets to my point of interest, it is going to give a certain pattern, probably a double top, a double bottom, head and shoulder, or any pattern at all before it breaks my trend line, as you can see illustrated on this diagram. Someone might be asking, since I've gotten my point of interest, why do I still need the trend line? Now it might interest you to know that most times when price gets to that your point of interest, it might wipe liquidity, like it might liquidate that level. It might just be a liquidation point. All right, and sometimes you might even be wrong with that point of interest that you selected. So the thing is that the trend line will help you filter out this noise, because you have to still wait for the trend line to be broken. So the trend line serving as a confirmation for your entry will help you filter out this kind of mistakes of marking your point of interest. It will also help you to filter out inducement. Where price wants to liquidate people, the trend line will help you to filter it out. And also, it will help you to filter out smart money traps so you don't fall into it and lose your money. Now, how do I get my entry confirmations? Number one, I want to wait for price to break my trend line. once it has gotten to my point of interest, I want to wait for it to come back and break my trend line. Secondly, I will scale down to lower time frame like the 5 minutes or 1 minute time frame. When I get there, I want to now spot out the substructures, lower time frame substructures that it has created after it got to my higher time frame points of interest, right? Then on that lower time frame, after I've spotted out the structures it's created, then I will mark a lower time frame point of interest, probably an order block within that lower time frame, or a breaker block, or something like that, anywhere where price created support or resistance, as the case may be. Then I will wait for price to pull back into that level. Then as soon as price gets back into such level, I will shoot my shots immediately. I will execute my entry. Very simple and straightforward. Now, what about my exit plan? A strategy is not complete if it doesn't show you where to place your stop loss and where to place your take profit. So, with this strategy, what is my exit plan? Now, as you can see up there, I have SL1 and SL2. So, my SL1 is on top of my point of interest, my higher time frame points of interest, which is level C. Now, it depends on the distance between this higher time frame SL and my entry point. If it is too far away, I'm not going to use it. But if it is close, I will use it. When it is too far away, I will now use my lower time frame high. Okay, that structure that was made before I made my entry, that's high. The high of it is where I'll place my SL. That's exactly where I marked my SL2. That's if the first one is too far away. Okay, that is exactly how I make my entry. Now my take profit, as you can see, is at the previous structural low or high. In this case, the previous structural low. That is where my take profit is. And most times it will be more than 1:2. But as a rule for me, it is going to be at least 1:2 risk-reward ratio. The TP must be at least 2 times the stop loss. Otherwise, I will not take the trade. That is it. Very simple. As you can see on the screen right now, here is a trade I took using this very strategy that I just explained. And I'm going to show you. We are going to go to my system. Let me show you exactly how I analyzed the chart and how I took this trade. I'm going to show you about 2 examples of how this strategy plays out in real life, so you'll be able to practically utilize this strategy because it is very simple and very profitable. Let's go to the chart. Let me show you exactly what I did to get this result. So we are here on my system, and this is a step index chart, which actually I took the trade as I explained earlier. So here, price was trending downwards, and we got a break of structure right here. We got a break of structure, and then this is my point of interest. I use the order block as my point of interest. Okay, so my order block / point of interest. So after marking my higher time frame points of interest, the next thing is to draw my trend line. So this is my first touch on the trend line, and this is the second touch on the trend line, and then this also is the third touch on the trend line. After the third touch, what happened is that price now came and broke the trend line. Then here you can see how price broke the trend line and reversed to my order block. You can see that's where it reversed to my order block. That candle there is my order block where price went and tapped into. Now for an order block to be valid, for a trend line to be valid, you only need 2 touches. Okay, 2 touches, you have drawn your trend line. Just connect the trend line to the two lows or highs, in this case 2 lows, and then extend it. So now we go to our lower time frame. Now let's see what happens after price broke our trend line. Let's see what happens. So I later decided to use the 10-minute time frame so I can see everything clearly. Now this is me marking my order block. So here you can see I marked that candle, which is my order block, and price went into the order block. Okay, this is my order block, and that was after price broke the trend line, and we have to mark our order block from the lower time frame, 10 minutes time frame at this point. So as soon as price gets to my point of interest like this, I execute my trade, and the next thing is to place my take profit. So this is where I'll place my take profit, as you can see here. So I place my take profit. I also place my SL, as you can see here, my stop loss, very important. Now, just as I illustrated in the diagram previously shown, there are two levels where I place my stop loss. Here is the first level, which is the lower time frame high. Now, the second place is the higher time frame high, which is above the higher time frame point of interest. Now, this is dependent on the distance between the entry and that proposed SL level. In this case, I used the second SL, which is the lower time frame high, because the other one is too far away. Obviously, this trade hit the take profit, as you can see. But let me show you the second example, which I actually participated in. This second one, I took the trade, and that's the very one I showed you guys earlier in this video. So let's go ahead and see how this played out. So the first thing is to mark my structure, right? I just mark the break of structure here. So here is the break of structure. Remember the ABC strategy pattern. So this is the break of structure right here, and then this is my area of interest here. This is my point of interest. You can see that my order block, which is my point of interest, the other block is right there above. That's my point of interest. So I place my trend line instantly. Now sometimes it could be very tricky, so you can see how this one went. The trend line was somehow straight. So this is my trend line. The move was very aggressive, so the trend line is almost straight. So this is it. I place my trend line, and I might decide to place another trend line when I get lower. Just watch and see how I did this, because most times it is very tricky. So you have to always adjust to the nature of the market you are in. Okay, the market is very chaotic. So this is the second place where you could place your trend line for it to be, more what do you call it? For it to be more applicable to the nature of this particular market, and for it to give you what you really need. Okay, so now we go down to lower time frame, which is 5 minutes in this case, and you can see how price came and touched our point of interest. So price touched our point of interest before breaking the trend line. So price broke the trend line here and also broke this low, which is a change of character. Okay, so it gave us a choke. After a change of character, price pulled back to another block, which is our lower time frame point of interest, and that is our entry point. Whenever this happens, we have our entry confirmation. So that's our entry point, and that is exactly how I took this trade. And now look at exactly where the TP is. This is the proposed TP level. This is where it should be. Yeah, as you can see, very straightforward. This is very straightforward. Even the dumbest person can understand this one. So don't forget to place your stop loss, very important, above the high of your lower time frame. Now you can see this is the trade I took with it. I took this very trade with it. You can see, look at it. So amazing, and see, very close to my take profit. I actually took this one below the take profit level because I knew that it was going to go down lower. But while I did that, I was also protecting my I was trailing the stop, because anything can happen. So I was trailing the stop. I was following it carefully with my stop loss, and you can see it went to my take profit, giving me more profits. So this is it, guys. Thank you for watching. If you have any confusion, maybe there's any term I mentioned you don't understand, let me know in the comment section, and I'll make a video specifically on that concept so you can learn and grow in this game. Thank you guys for watching. This is the Alpha Trade, and remember, it can only get better. Goodbye.